Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, species around the multiverse, welcome to episode 330 of Geek Syndicate, where we do what we always do. What is that? Bring the sass back to geekdom. I am Monster, and with me, as always, is...
Yeah, lockdown's opening up, which means Rum Tum Tucker can get back on the road, people.
What is it with you and this Rum Tum Tucker nonsense?
So I just want to say, first off, this is Nuge, a.k.a. Barry, a.k.a. master of the one-man show, Rum Tum Tucker. So just saying...
What does Rum Tum Tucker actually do, just out of curiosity?
You have to come to the show, find out. I'm not just going to give you this stuff for free, man. Do you know what I mean?
Why do I can't...
Come along to my one-man show, Rum Tum Tucker.
No.
Fair enough. can't really give you the hard sell. Is that fair enough?
Was that definitive enough for you?
Yeah, pretty much. To be honest, it was probably definitive 5 years ago when I first started saying it.
Yeah, Rum Tum Tucker. I don't even know where you got that from.
Me neither. Anyway, how you doing, man?
Yeah, you know, Tiggs. Yeah, no, yeah, I got nothing. Doing all right in it. It's life.
Yeah,
you know what it is. I tell you what it is. It's suddenly the kids went back to school. It's like yay, and then suddenly it was Easter again. I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah, it's a trap.
Yeah, it's a trap. 3 weeks, man. 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I've gone high pitched, and I'm like, what can I con them into watching that? That they'll watch with me. That's like geeky stuff, but stuff that I'll appreciate as well as them, which won't like cause them nightmares or anything. It's hard to tell.
I was gonna say is that pretty sure it's pretty strong list.
Pretty yeah. But no, they went to my eldest went she had a sleepover at someone's house. Yeah. And she come back and said, "Oh yeah, we watched the movie. What was it?" She has Justice League. And I'm like, what? How long was it? She went 2 hours. I went, I can't believe she showed you the 2 hour version. She couldn't show you anything. It was like 4 hour version. The 2 hour version is terrible. It's terrible. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about, Daddy.
Get to bed. I'm so disappointed in you. You should have known better.
You should have said something.
You should have spotted that it was the weird cut and spoke up. I've taught you better than that. Now get upstairs.
So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, I've got vision now of you going around to the parents and like the friend's house and going, yeah, I'm David. Yeah, I'm the dad. If you've got a few minutes, like, what the hell are you people thinking? Do you know what I mean? All you have to do is ring me. There's places you can get these things, people. Come on. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of vexed on your behalf, man.
I know, right? And I'm trying stuff like, so do you fancy, watching the long one with me so we can see what the differences are? And she was like, yeah, not just yet.
Oh, man.
Man. So, yeah,
wow.
we'll see how that goes. It's not great. She admitted me to you the other day. She didn't really want to watch Star Wars. No, she said she didn't mind Star Wars, but she didn't really want to watch some Marvel movies.
This is why I haven't got kids. Because I'd be like, so I don't know if I had a son or a daughter. I don't know what they'd be called. So let's say I don't know. let's say Bernie and Sammy. Don't know why.
Wow. Bernie
and Sandra. Yeah,
all
Bernie
right.
and Sandra.
Okay.
Don't know. Like. We say, right, Bernie's like, look, man, I want you to watch this film. This film is really important to me, man. I think you're going to have a good time with it. You're a little young, but we're going to try it. Okay, Dad, what's the film? It's Raiders Lost Ark. Oh, no. I think I saw. Is that the one, the old dude, the dude with the hat? No, I saw that. No, I don't want to watch that. I'll be like, but Billy, because his name's Billy now, I can't remember what his name was. Billy, can you run upstairs to the cupboard? Yeah, the cupboard that I told you never to go into. Yeah, that cupboard. Yeah, get what's in there and come down. So, okay, Dad, there's 2 cases here with our names on them. Yeah. That's
the last thing you'll ever get from me.
You tell me, you find your clothes and a pack of sandwiches and a tenner to get you to the station. There's the door. Good luck.
and a tenner to get you to the station.
Good luck. You know what I mean?
I love that. And a tenner. That's generous.
Well, yeah, actually, might be a fiver. We'll see. Do you know what I mean?
I love that.
Wow.
Yeah, probably best. Yeah, got kids.
Yes, for the best.
But there you go. Oh no, because like, so what Siobhan wants to try now is Indiana Jones. She was like, we have to introduce him to Indiana Jones. I'm like, I want to, but I'm not sure how I can deal with the disappointment if it goes wrong.
What the disappointment of having to tell your best friend that your kids don't like Raiders of the Lost Ark? Because I got 3 cases with their names on, man.
3, you know, I'm not. I would just wouldn't tell you.
I could FedEx some down to you, man. They'll be there tomorrow. No, I know, because I'll be having dinner with Sue, and like, yeah, this is beautiful dinner you created, man. I love what you've done, and that, bro, you're right. Sorry, love. It's I don't know. It's as if thousands of voices cried out in terror. In the silence.
I knew you were gonna say. I knew that was coming.
Somewhere, someone's seen Raiders of the Lost Ark and they haven't liked it. I have to go. Somewhere I'm needed. Do
you know what? There's a TV series here, man.
Just a reality show. I just turn up people's doorsteps, man.
What disturbs me, and it disturbs me as equally as it amuses me, is how detailed this story off the top of your head was about what you did.
No, seriously, dude. I'm gonna be like Mary Poppins, man. I'm Mary Poppins, yo, because like you'll watch it with your kids, you'll be like, yeah, Dad, we didn't like it, and suddenly there'll be a knock at the door, it'll be raining, I'll be there, umbrella.
That's exactly how Mary Poppins talks. I'm Mary Poppins, yo.
I'm Mary Poppins, yo. Someone call me.
It's poppin' time.
It's popping time, yo. Oh, someone needs to reboot Mary Poppins now.
Oh man, I'm telling you.
For brother, it's popping time, yo. Just kick open the door. Right.
Yeah, let's get serious.
Yeah, let's get serious.
Let's start it off with some news. You said you had some news.
Yes, I got some news. So, Big Finish, audio production company extraordinaire. I don't know if you know this, right? But they're bringing out a new audio drama in May.
Okay.
I can't even, honestly, I had to watch the trailer. I had to listen to the trailer because I didn't believe it, and then listen to it again. If I said this, let's see if you get it. 5.
Thunderbirds?
The fact that, see, that's what my mates, man. I had to say that. I only had to say 5 in that tone. You knew what I was talking about.
For real? I mean, like, what?
Yeah. Thunderbirds, Terror from the Stars. Thunderbird 5 is attacked by unknown enemy of uncanny powers and an identified object is tracked, landing in the Gobi Desert. But do you know what? I'm not going to read the blurb out. It's Thunderbirds, man. Come on.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Thunderbirds audio, yeah.
Do you know what? The thought of Thunderbirds being adapted for audio drama never even occurred to me.
No, me neither.
But I'm sitting here going, why not?
Yeah, and the more I think about it, the more I think that would work, you know?
Yeah, and also, because you don't have to choreograph fights, because they don't really get into fights on Thunderbirds, do they?
My only worry is when you read the blurb, it feels a little bit like not what the core of Thunderbirds is, because the core of Thunderbirds, which is what I liked about it, was the fact that it was all about saving people. You know what I mean? From like incredibly complex disasters that no one else could deal with. Whereas this one, it feels like they're basically battling against some evil intelligence. So I'm a bit concerned about that. But,
okay.
You know, but I'm willing to give it. I said, listen to the trailer. The trailer sounded good, so okay. I'm willing to go on faith.
I'm all in that. But if we're talking about things that suddenly got you interested, I've just seen a movie like on Netflix, and it wasn't even like you know when something's on and it just kind of starts playing, and so you can't. Sometimes it's not even the official trailer; it just kind of seem to play a random clip from it on Netflix. And it's something I hadn't seen before. No, I think I had seen it and just looked past it because I just didn't think it looked that interesting. Mm-hmm. It's a film called Jiu-Jitsu.
Is this the one with Nicolas Cage?
Nicolas Cage, Tony Jaa. Is it Jaa? Is that he says?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Frank Grillo.
Is that he's the dude from the event Winter Soldier, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you only just seen the trailer for it, or?
So well, I'm just literally, my mouse hovered over it, and I was like, well, first of all, let me tell you what the blurb it says. After the it's mad. The blurb is mad. After the defeat of a celebrated war hero, an ancient order of fighters battles powerful space invaders as the fate of humanity hangs in the balance.
I mean,
Genres: action and adventure, martial arts films, sci-fi and fantasy. And underneath it says, this film is offbeat, exciting. So the bit, literally, I've seen maybe 15 seconds
right
of this fight scene, which is all in first person.
What?
So, listen, I don't know if the film is going to be all in first person, but I'm watching this fight scene in first person, and the guy who's doing it, he's obviously got friends he's fighting with, and they keep coming in and out of focus as he turns around or whatever, or they help each other out.
All right, but how did it look though?
Equally incredible and terrible. It's the kind of terrible that makes me go, I actually want to see this.
Right.
It's one of those, you know what? I've had a hard day. Here's a beer. Here's some crisps. I'm all in.
Okay. I'd heard about it, but I just written off as like Nicolas Cage, making his meat film.
Yeah, no.
Of which he does quite a lot.
I was going to say standard Nicolas Cage making ends meet film. I love it.
But yeah, the fact it's got Tony Jaa in it, I'm willing to give it a look. See anyway.
Also, is that first part? I was like, filming that was just the thought of how they filmed that made me go, oh, interesting. And I love the fact that it's described as offbeat and excited. That's done it for me, I think.
Really?
Yeah, offbeat and exciting.
Just playing up the expectations.
Yep. I mean,
okay. Well, my last bit of news is, so obviously with Disney Plus, all of their stuff that they've got in there is kind of with the old American slant, but they've unveiled their first scripted slate of UK shows that they're working on. And so the 3 projects that were announced, I'm going to read them off quickly and then just give me a kind of, a bit like the pilot season, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. See what you think. So the first is The Ballad of Renegade Nell, an adventure series set in the 18th century. The series follows swashbuckling highwaywoman Nell Jackson, who is forced into a life of robbery when she's framed for murder. And is right, here we go. This is a little bit blurred about it. Nell is a ball of reverent blustering. Actually, I don't need to read all of that. All I needed to read was the series follows swashbuckling highwaywoman Nell Jackson, who is forced into a life robbery when she's framed for murder.
Curious? As it curious as in interesting?
What's your thumb saying?
Middle.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
It hasn't made me go, whoa!
It's made me. First, when I first read it, I was kind of then reading it out again, it suddenly made me think of that show way back in the day. They used to be on ITV, the Dick Turpin show. Remember that one? With, Swiftnick was his sidekick, if memory serves. Okay, so that's one.
Yeah.
Next one is Culprits, a darkly comic thriller series. Following what happens after a heist, when the crew have gone their separate ways and are being targeted by a killer one by one.
Nice. I kind of like that. It's got my thumb going towards up because I kind of like that concept of like people being picked off and then you kind of scrabbling to work out what we're going to do, who's doing it, where's it coming from.
Yeah. And I quite like the idea that it's kind of like after a heist type thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And the last one is Extraordinary. Following Jen, a young self-aware woman who lives in a world where everyone has a superpower except her.
Ooh.
The series is being described as somewhere between a sitcom and an existential crisis.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in.
I just like those things that try to go, Well, do you know what? It was like when you look at One Division, why I thrilled to that because it was a little bit different. It was a slightly different slant on a superhero theme. And
Yeah.
this is that. It's like actually the person you're following is the actually only unsuperpowered person. Let's see, how does that feel?
Yeah. I think we're going to start to see more of that, these types of shows where it's kind of just look, because, superhero genre is a massive money spinner at the moment. But I think they're trying to find different ways to, operate within that genre. Because I think kind of Marvel's kind of got it sewn up. So I think people are trying to find different ways to come at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you ever read a comic called Brave New World?
No, but it sounds familiar.
It was only 3 issues, and it was about this guy who wakes up one day, suddenly finds out, I can't remember how it happened, but he's got superpowers. He can fly. Mm-hmm. And like he doesn't know what to do. Does he tell anyone? Does he keep it to himself? Does he become a hero? And he does it. And basically, he kind of squanders it a bit. Where he thinks he's unique. And just when he decides to get his shit together, other people start flying. And then it turns out basically pretty much everybody's getting the power of flight and superheroes. But his was the first. But he didn't take advantage of it because he was too lackadaisical or too selfish. So he could have been the celebrity, the one that started it all, and he just missed it out, and then he became nobody again because everybody was like him.
Wow, that sounds like a cheery read.
I know it was cheerier than that, to be honest.
Okay,
it was a little bit down at the end, but it's like you kind of go, dude, man. you could have done something with yourself.
Fix up, man. Fix up, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I just suddenly thought, we're coming at it differently. That might be something nice to adapt. Just a little one-off going, what happens when you're the first?
Yeah. That is a good idea, actually.
Yeah, I'll pitch it along with my other 99 ideas.
You do
rejected.
Yeah, 99 ideas and the pitch ain't one.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Hey, we're rolling tonight, man.
Hey, you got any more news before we move to the week that was?
No.
So we just hit week that was, dude.
It's time for the week that was.
Yep.
I just want to mention this one because I don't really feel the need to talk about it too much, but I wanted to mention I found it really interesting, my reaction to it, which was Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay, that's good because I've just spent about 40 minutes talking about it. So
okay, so just really quickly there because because just life, I missed. It was only a couple of days ago I managed to catch up on episode 3 and 4 together.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, WandaVision. Because I'm just watching people go, this is incredible, loving Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's great. And I was, from episode 1 and 2, I was enjoying it, but I didn't find the need to rush and see it every Friday, whereas with WandaVision, I couldn't miss it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then 3 and 4, I'm like, okay, all right, now I'm in.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it was bad at all, but I think after the crazy wackiness that was WandaVision, it seemed a bit too normal.
Jarring.
Yeah, maybe let's go with that.
Yeah.
But suddenly, I don't know, something stepped up a bit, and I was like, okay, I'm in. But I just thought that was really interesting. Have I become so saturated in superhero stuff, which I'm still enjoying, don't get me wrong, that I'm really trying to cling to the things that come at it from a different angle now, which kind of ties into what we were just talking about.
I don't know, kind of yes, kind of no, because I kind of don't even... Weirdly, with this one, in some ways, I kind of don't even see it as straight up superhero in the same way.
No, I know what you mean.
Because it's got that, and maybe it's because because I'm still doing my Marvel kind of timeline watch, and actually, we watched Winter Soldier last weekend, and I kind of see this more. It is hitting that kind of spy thriller, genre. Yes, there's people with abilities in there, but even those feel kind of toned down compared to. What we've seen, do you know what I mean? And some of the issues and some of the things they're dealing with, there's some real meat on the bone in some of them conversations that people are saying. It gives you kind of food for thought, So I've been really enjoying it, but I was just saying this to someone that I enjoyed the first episode. Actually, I enjoyed the second episode, but I was just enjoying them.
Yeah. No, okay, it's not just me then.
No. And then when I got to like the sort of third episode, I think some of it was I found to begin with some of the characters' motivations were a bit not necessarily well explained for me anyway. And I think it's by the third episode I suddenly understood what their motivations were, and the world that they were operating, and some of the changes that had happened to the world, not necessarily for the better. And I thought, okay, I get where you're coming from now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Although I think what I'm struggling with also is trying to. I don't quite understand what it is the bad guy, and I say bad guys with, you can't see my fingers doing quotes, but I can't quite understand what it is they actually want to achieve. I know what they want. I know the concept of what they want to achieve, but practically, I'm like, what are you after?
Well, I think, to put it quite bluntly, what they're after, they can't have, because what they're after is a return to what life was like before the snap.
So what is it they want to achieve?
But I think it's your classic, I don't even want to call them terrorists, but I think that's your classic kind of, where they've got an idea, they're trying to strive to some ideal, which is you're never going to get it. You're never going to get there. Do you know what I mean? So I think what they're trying to do is kind of help where they can and stuff. But the bigger picture is, we want to try to get back to that world. Because I think what they were saying is, and that's the bit I kind of got a bit lost on, was that actually during those 5 years, basically borders got erased.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of came together. Do you know what I mean? So, everyone came together as one world.
What was really exactly. And she said, when everyone came back, suddenly
it got fragmented again.
Places that had welcomed you to help rebuild suddenly were like, okay, you need to go now.
Yeah.
But what I find really interesting about that is, like, my parents and yours came to this country after the war, when Britain was still rebuilding after the war. And I'm not saying, they were welcomed to work. They weren't welcomed in all quarters. And then, suddenly not welcome, once the work's been done and things, whatever. And I just thought that's a very interesting parallel.
Yeah, there's lots of parallels to be drawn from that show, and a lot of meat on the bones. And like I said, I think what they're doing with Sam is very subtle and very well done. Because what I was saying to someone, not even just the sort of some of the race elements they've done in there, but what I was kind of saying to someone was, at the end of Endgame, when Cap gives him the shield, you obviously get a sense that Sam don't really want it, like that he doesn't feel that he's worthy of it, right? Mm-hmm. And as a viewer watching it, I'm kind of like a bit uncomfortable, because I'm kind of like, I don't really want to see the next film and you're running about with Cap shield. I'd rather you be doing your own. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Which to be fair, I've always wanted, because I'm like, you got your own identity. You're the Falcon. You don't need to take on someone else's identity.
However, within the concept of this world, he's like, it's a big deal with the shield, right? And they've really done that. And they've done that well, because it's not just about the shield and whatever. And what the show is doing is showing you, regardless of mantles and stuff, why Sam should be the one to have it.
He is growing, isn't he? And he's become the moral guardian of everybody there.
Exactly. And someone was saying to me, like, it's so, the show's grey, everyone's grey. And I was like, yeah. And then I was thinking about it, everyone's grey apart from Sam. Sam's like down the line, you know what I mean? Sam's like, no, this is how it's done. This is how we do it. You know what I mean? And I still remember, and maybe it's because Winter Soldier wasn't that long ago, I watched it. And for those that are listening to both episodes that come out this week, I'm sorry, I'm saying the same thing again, but he says in Winter Soldier, there's a bit where Nick Fury turns to Cap, where they want to, Cap wants him to burn Shield to the ground with Hydra and stuff, and he looks at Sam, and Sam says, "Don't look at me. I do what he does, only slower." Yeah. And I'm like, right there, it's telling you. You know what I mean? And then someone says, like, in Endgame, what's Cap doing? Cap's running like a support group. How did he meet Sam? Sam was running a support group.
He's learnt from, yeah.
It's there. You know what I mean?
Okay, nice. Yeah. All right.
So I'm kind of like, he's earning it. He's earning his spot, not just within that universe, but with the viewers. And I think it's an origin story, again, in the same way with what they did with WandaVision. Because WandaVision, at its heart, in a lot of ways, is an origin story.
True.
And I think that's what they're doing. So that when we do get to the newer films, we're not going to be like, oh, really?
It's fascinating. It's really interesting what they do. Okay.
Yeah.
Got me all excited again.
I know, man. That was a 5-minute conversation. Should have been.
Yeah, I know. All right, what you got?
Really briefly, only because this is in my wheelhouse. I watched The Irregulars. You heard
Yeah,
of
yeah,
this?
yeah. I have heard of it.
Have you watched any of it?
No.
So this is a Netflix show, and basically this is a different take on the Sherlock Holmes mythology, and especially the Baker Street Irregulars, which were like the group of urchins who
But
helped.
they're a lot older than.
Yeah, they've aged them up. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
To help them, and it was all right. Do you know what I mean? It was all right. I was entertained. It definitely was trying for it almost a kind of like Buffy meets Sherlock Holmes type deal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And some of the kids, teenagers, whatever, I found quite unlikable to begin with, but they, as it went on, I kind of warmed to them, and when I got a bit more what their deal was, and some of the stuff some of the ideas they had around sort of Sherlock Holmes, I hadn't really seen done before, and I thought actually, that's quite interesting. But
Yeah,
just
your tone of voice ain't inspiring me.
no, because as a whole, once it just didn't really come together. A lot of it is just if you've never watched shows like this before, maybe you might think it was quite original. But for me, a lot of it was just painting by numbers.
Right. Okay. That's the problem, isn't it?
You kind of see, you could literally see things coming a mile off. You go, yep, that's going to be that. He's going to be this. She's going to be that. This is going to happen. And I don't know how much of it is me being jaded because I've seen these shows so many times, but no, because I've seen shows where it's been like that, but I've still loved the heck out of it.
Yeah, well, your voice told me everything.
So yeah, what I mean, if you got nothing on, I know who I'm talking to, but you know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you got nothing on,
but that's why when I said your voice told me everything, it was like, you know what, if I had time, I'd probably give it a look see, but I don't. So
yeah, don't worry yourself.
I'm all good.
Yeah, don't worry yourself. I'll check out if it gets a second season. I'll give it a look see.
There's so many things that I want to watch. Is it some show called Monster Apocalypse or something? Oh, I don't know. I just wanted to mention Invincible.
Oh, that was on my list.
Right. So part of the reason I mention it as well is because couple of weeks ago, I think I just finished the comic series, or 144 issues.
Wow.
And comic wise, I loved it. I loved it. I love what they did. I love where they went. It's one of those shows, it just don't hold back.
Yeah.
And I was like, if they can approximate that in the cartoon, then great. And I'm like, the voice cast in the cartoon is on the money, man.
It's just money being the operative word, because they must have spent some cash getting some of them names.
I'm telling you. But so I was looking at some of the differences, and I was like, number one, and I was shocked. I was really disappointed and let down by this difference. It's huge. Yeah. That's not their front door.
Right.
Front door in the comic's different.
Right.
Right. Now I've got that off my chest.
Okay.
So the other difference I found really interesting, because one of the things that always struck me about Invincible, the comic, was at first glance, you could go, this comic is safe for my kids. Yeah, it's quite bright. It's kind of, prime colours are in evidence. The artwork is, it's really accessible and easy to look at. The dialogue can be quite simple. And that doesn't take away from its emotional weight, but it actually can be quite simple, and people are quite interesting because they come to realizations about deep things quite easily. They talk it through and go, oh yeah, you know what, you're right. That kind of happens a lot. But here's the big difference, and I'm like, why did they feel the need to do it different? And I'm just curious. What supports my thing about the comic just feeling like it's accessible until they hit the brutal violence, that is there's no swearing in the comic,
right,
at all. At the most they say is crap. Yeah. And then in the series it's like shit, fuck, shit. And I was like, okay, I get some of those situations, I could see why they're swearing there, but why such a dramatic departure from the tone of all the things that made Invincible what it was? Because to me it was that that juxtaposition between the simpleness of it, the accessibility of it, and then whoa, brutal violence. So I'm just curious as to that decision. I found it jarring. I probably wouldn't have found it jarring if I hadn't read the comic.
Okay. Yeah, see, I think for me, because it's been a while since I'd read, and I haven't read the full run, but I'd read a significant amount of it. But it's a long time ago. I knew some of the big story beats that are going to hit in this series, and it's definitely made me want to go back, not only start the comic again, but read it all the way through. And so I suppose because of that,
the scope of this comic is incredible.
I think because of that, I didn't find the swearing jarring.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, these are teenagers and stuff, so it didn't really bother me.
Literally, if I hadn't read the comic, I wouldn't have found it jarring.
Yeah.
It was just like, because I went, but why?
Yeah, it's interesting. That is interesting. But I mean, going back to the violence, what's weird is, and I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but I kept seeing people going like, wow, the violence to this, to that. And I was like, okay. And I hadn't watched it yet. And I stuck on the first episode. And because I couldn't remember the comics, I can't remember when the violence kicked in or anything. So I was sticking on the first episode. I'm watching it. I'm like, not really seeing what the fuss is about. You know what I mean? Not seeing and then this is a mild spoiler, but then it gets to actually the credits. And I'm kind of like, wow, okay, well, that's that then. The credits. And then I could hear talking. I was like, oh, something's still going on. And then obviously you get another scene, like a little longer scene. By the end of that scene, I was just like, my mouth was just open. I was like, people done got effed up.
Proper.
Effed up, man.
Proper. Man, listen, you should see some of the things that happens in the comic later on. I'm like, wow. I think what I loved about the comic was like, I was like, wow, that's it, man. You're not going to get worse than that. Oh, yes, you are.
I mean, for a dude who calls himself invincible, that's not possibly not especially the last the episode I just watched, probably not the best name choice in the world,
mate. Yeah. I like what they do with when they begin, because who's that guy? He calls himself, and then just comes up with invincible.
Yeah, by episode 4, I was kind of like, I get it now.
Got it now.
Do you know what I mean? Can we stop with that? Do you know what I mean? But I'm loving it. The animation is, not only is it wicked, but without being a cliche, it is the comic book come to life.
Yep.
Because the style of it hasn't dramatically changed from the comic. And it's got a lot of, people can talk about the violence and stuff like that. And I was saying, someone go, can we just have some good old heroes or whatever? But actually, that's what the kid is.
Yeah. And that's really important to his journey. Actually.
He's got a lot. He's got a lot of heart. So that I kind of warmed to, because it isn't just about the grim and the violence and whatever. It's about a kid learning to stand up for what's right and learning what it is to actually be a hero and stuff like that. And I really like the relationship that he has with his mum. And I think there's a conversation to have, and she kind of calls him in touch. And I think there's a bit where she's kind of telling him off, and he's like, "Meet me," and she's like, "So that's how it's going to be then." Yeah. And you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's yeah. And I could almost imagine if I had powers and I behaved like to my mum. To be fair, I'd have got a lot more cuss than the mum was giving him. But yeah,
for real.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you could fly your ass upstairs and pack your stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's a great show. Is it 8 episodes?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm very curious about where we're going to get to at the end of episode 8. I've got a feeling, I know. But yeah, because it's like, there's so much more here. There's so much more.
Yeah.
The places this cartoon can go. But
I think what's good for me is that I hope it gets renewed. But if it doesn't, I know there's a full run of comics that's going to be the full story that I can read.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean.
It's a damn good read.
Yeah, it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And it just goes to places like when you start a comic, when you start for issue 1, you would never imagine that it would go to the places it goes to. And I don't think one is going to get covered off in this one. That I was kind of jaw dropped, and in some ways, I think if I had a criticism of the show, the TV show, I think it kind of plays that hand
a bit too early.
So no, absolutely. So one of the other big differences is that we know
Yeah,
pretty much from the offset what's going on, and it wasn't that clear so early on.
I get the shock value of it, but personally, I prefer the comic way.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not that I'm not loving it,
Mm.
but I prefer the comic way. Yeah, I think so.
So yeah.
Anywho,
So yeah, excuse me. What am I saying? Yeah. So there you go. Let us know what you think about the things that we have talked about.
yeah.
Good or bad? Do you agree? Do you not agree? Are we wrong? Are we right? The answer is yes, you're right. But let us know at the geeks at geeksyndicate.co.uk. Let us know on Facebook. Let us know on Twitter. Let us know on Instagram. Don't forget to check out the website, geeksyndicate.co.uk. And you can buy us a cup of coffee at ko-fi.com, or you can subscribe to us on Patreon. And we are incredibly grateful to all those who've done that so far. So until next time, Geek Syndicate, we out.
It's popping, y'all.
Oh dear.
It's popping time.
Mary, quite contrary. It's poppin' time.
Mary Poppins, y'all.
Who is that? It's Mary Poppins, y'all.
Mary, you come right out of a comic book.
Classic, man.